You got up there. You can do it. Weird. Off. Hello YouTube. So I decided to do a Q&A on my Instagram and my Facebook and got some really good questions, so thank you for taking part. I was just curious to see what you guys wanted to ask. This was the post that I put up. So the lighting here is really weird. It's like dusk and the light's terrible. A lot of the questions were strength based, so a lot of you wanted to know about handsprings, phoenix, deadlifts, exercises off the pole to help with your strength, all that good stuff. And I think I'm going to do a separate video to help break that down a little bit more, because there's just too much information to go through just on video, and I need to show you a lot of the stuff rather than just talk at you. So I'm going to try and do that. If you've asked me a strength question, I haven't forgotten you, I'm just going to put it in another video. And also I got a few nutrition questions, and I'm going to do a meal prep video to kind of break down what I would cook and what I would eat during the week. Starting on Instagram, Vanessa asked, how do you help your students let go of fear? Try and be really reassuring, be patient, making sure you have really strong spotting skills, you show correct entry and exits of moves so they know how to get in and out of it safely, and allowing them to build up to it nice and safely and slowly in their own time rather than kind of pushing them too hard. It's good to get them out of their comfort zone, but also you don't want to push them to the point where they're going to, hurt themselves. What sort of diet do you have? I will answer that in another video. And how long have you been pole dancing? And this got asked a few times. I'm not the best person at remembering specific dates. Like, my memory is terrible. I'm concerned about my memory sometimes. About 7 years ago, I don't know the exact date if I'm honest, but it's about 7 years. And I started teaching pretty soon after I started. There just wasn't the same amount of content that there is now, so kind of had to get myself out there and start teaching just so I could keep doing it, basically. What grip aids do you use? So I'm a very dry person. I tend to struggle more with just being really dry rather than being too slippy. So I use dry hands on my hands if I'm going to do a performance, and I use dew point or like a moisture-based grip on my body. And I've actually got a really good moisturiser tip, which I'm going to do in another video as well. I feel like I'm just pushing you onto other videos, but otherwise I'll just be blabbering on this one for too long. Do you have any tips for beginner pole dancers? Go and find yourself a reputable instructor. There's so many amazing instructors out there now, so make sure that the one you pick has insurance, has qualifications, knows what they're doing, knows how to spot. It'll pay dividends in the long run if you start off with someone who knows what they're doing. Don't compare yourself to anybody else. Don't worry, just because I've been doing it for this amount of time, I should be at this level. It just doesn't work like that with pole. Everyone's on their own pole journey, so if it takes you a little bit longer than the person next to you, that's fine, because that's what your body needs, and it's how you're going to build your muscle and build your strength and build your confidence to be able to do the tricks later on. So don't rush, don't compare yourself, take the time with the fundamentals. So climbing, spinning, inverting, all that stuff needs repetition to build the muscle memory to do it properly, and it will help you so much later on. I can't speak properly today. And do things both sides, because my god, that's hard to fix later if you don't do it. Did you use anything to help with bruising when you first started pole dancing? I bruise like a peach, so I have to leave a few days between sessions. Thank you, Nat. I didn't actually bruise when I started. I know that's like a really irritating answer, and I apologise. I still had the pain when you first start pole. The skin on the pole, it tends to be a little bit sore sometimes. And sometimes I wanted the trophy to be like, this is what I got in pole class. But I didn't get any bruises. But I'm going to throw that back to people watching, and so if you have any advice on bruising, then please comment below, and then Nat can read it and we can all help each other. That would be good. Do you like peanut butter? I like all the nut butters. I'm not even sure if I have a favourite. Cashew butter is pretty good, but it's quite sickly. I've heard there's a coconut and nut butter mix thing you can get nowadays. I haven't tried that yet, but I want it, and peanut butter is amazing. Look at my baby. He's so snuggly. He's going to the dog trainer on Sunday for 3 weeks. He looks like an angel. He's not really much of an angel. He doesn't know what's going to hit him. Bless him. So yeah, how long had you been poling before you did your first competition, and when watching performers, what do you look out for most? It's a very good question. How long had I been poling for? Again, that's the memory thing going again. About a year, year and a half, I want to say. I should have looked this up before I started reading these questions. And I was terrified, but it was the best thing I could have done to kind of get me going in the industry and learn about what I needed to improve on and things like that. I got some great advice from my first competition from Stacey Snedden, which has stuck with me throughout all of my competitions, which was wear sparkles. I had the most boring, just a terrible costume, and she told me off for it. And it's whenever I go on stage with a sparkly costume now, she's like, "Yeah, told you." Yeah, you're never going to feel ready, so just go for it. You get great feedback a lot of the time, even if you just have to do a video entry and you don't get in, you'll still get feedback on what you need to improve on, so that's really helpful. And what do I look out for in performers? From an audience member's perspective, I really look for someone who's innovative and creative, something dynamic, something that I haven't necessarily seen before, and it can be any style. Like, I love all different styles of pole, so it can be something, just that kind of stage presence that just draws you in and makes you want to watch their performance. I could watch pole all day. I love it. And from a judge's perspective, I'd say someone who looks confident. Doesn't necessarily mean they are confident, like fake it till you make it, but try not to look down, try not to look at your feet or the pole, try and look out at the audience at least a couple of times during your routine. It relaxes you, it relaxes the audience, it relaxes the judges, and it gives the illusion of confidence, and it makes it a lot more enjoyable for everybody to watch. So I recommend that. And clean and controlled entry and exits of moves as well. Don't just do like trick, jump off, trick, jump off. Try and link it all together and make it flow. How did you make your living before teaching? I did a few different jobs, but not fitness based at all. I worked in a pub and restaurant for a long time. I actually lived in the pub and was waitressing and could like carry all the things up my arm and stuff like that. It was enjoyable, but I knew it wasn't something I wanted to do in the long term. And when I started pole dancing for fun, I did a couple of classes and then was like, this is me, and retrained as a fitness instructor and a pole instructor, and then opened my studio pretty soon after all that. So yeah, knew pretty much straight away it was something that I had to do. How do you train new moves in the safest way possible without a spotter, or rather know when you're strong enough to attempt them as safely as possible without a spotter when you have no other choice? So I feel your pain, MC2 Fit, because I have to train by myself a lot and I don't have a spotter. The problem with wanting to do moves like that is that there's a reason why you need a spotter. It's because they're too dangerous to do by yourself, in my opinion. I just don't do them unless I have a spotter there with me. So that'll either require going to see someone specific, travelling to a workshop, getting a private with someone, or just working on other things that are going to build your strength and build your confidence, so that when you do get the opportunity to train those, you're ready. So really, like, make sure your inverts are really strong, make sure your shoulder mounts are really strong, everything around them. Just, you can't necessarily do those moves without a spotter, in my opinion, unfortunately. Dan Rosen, I will answer that question on Instagram, so go back to that post if you want to see the question. Do you have a favourite flavour of the Refuse to Lose protein? I will put a link down the bottom for the Refuse to Lose protein. My favourite is probably vanilla. The white chocolate tastes amazing and the vanilla tastes amazing, but I add more stuff to the vanilla, so I'll put like peanut butter, obviously, banana, spinach, or you can put frozen berries with it. Like, you can make different flavours with it, so I like the vanilla one, I think, is my favourite. And then on Facebook, if I go to that post, Leah Rose, you still haven't married me. Why? Because you haven't asked me yet, Leah. God damn it. How do you get your Poljo back? From Gail. This is a good question. So I'm guessing this is pole mojo. I'm interpreting, but this is a good word. So everyone tends to get like highs and lows with pole. Like, you feel like you're doing really well, and the next week you come in, you'll feel like you're in a bit of a pole rut, like you're not learning anything new. You're, watch, a kid do something ridiculously amazing on the pole and you feel like you suck, but that's okay. I think everyone goes through that, or at least I definitely do. So I tend to do a couple of things if I'm in that rut. One is to set some goals, but not crazy goals, but be more specific in my training. So I'll write lists, so I'll give myself little targets to hit so that I'm being more productive in my training sessions. Second thing I would try is getting a pole jam together, like getting some people that you love training with, and having some more energy around you can be really, really helpful, and you can help each other, and even if you like put together a little routine, like something fun. And also number 3 would be take the pressure off yourself, go into the studio, put on some really good music and just muck about, have a play. There's nothing worse than feeling like, oh, I've got to get a new trick today. If you take the pressure off yourself and actually you start finding little things that you didn't even realise that you knew or remembered, or that for me is how I tend to pull myself back out of the ruts. It's just try and get back to why you even enjoy doing pole in the first place. Cary Summers. How much do you love Cary Summers? A lot. You're my favourite Cary Summers in the whole world. And I will link your video below so that everyone else will love you too. Have you ever been hurt? I've only been close to being injured with my shoulders once or twice, but majorly once, and that's when I started researching how to balance out my shoulders and my muscles, and I put a video up, the rear delt exercises for pole dancers. It's another YouTube video that I put up, but I'll link it below. And also I pulled an intercostal muscle when I overtrained for a competition, and that actually made me have to pull out of the competition, which was very, very frustrating and annoying. But it was my own fault. I went from not doing too much training but teaching a lot, and then jumped straight into comp training like with a vengeance, and ended up pulling a muscle, and I couldn't breathe or invert, so that sucked. And how do you keep your hair off your face while dancing? Is there a trick? I always end up looking like Cousin It's twin. I'm pretty useless at this, to be honest. A lot of my performances, you'll see me like, with it all over my face. A lot of that is like the fake lashes make it worse because they're longer and they all get tangled in. But hair flick, choreograph hair flicks and head rolls into your performances. I need to get more creative with my hair because I always wear it down in my performances. I think it's because I like hair flicking, but I need to get myself a hairdresser friend. Come help me out. To give me some more like creative ideas on what to do with my hair, because I'm useless. I have no creative hairdressing skills whatsoever. That's why it's always down. So sometimes it's not a creative choice, it's just through laziness and, being useless with my hair. If you have any tips on how to keep your hair out your face, then please comment below, and again, help each other out. And do you have any advice, there's some good questions, Sharon. Do you have any advice on education for those who don't understand it's a sport? So it's all down to the context of which you're talking about. So for some people, they're just being negative for being negative's sake. Some people are saying derogatory comments because they might have a preconceived idea about what pole is. And other people, they just don't know what pole is about. And so you explaining it to them in a nice, calm, clear way is going to be really helpful. I think showing them videos is really, really good. There's a great selection of amazing pole dancers out there that you could pull videos from to kind of back up your point. But just be careful when you are educating people that you're not putting down one section of pole to boost another. So saying that just because it's used in strip clubs and things like that, don't say that's negative, because a lot of people really enjoy it. A lot of people make great money from it. They make amazing careers out of it. I was brought up on YouTube channels in my pole career watching and admiring so many of these people. So I don't like it when, as an industry, we want to like push one section down to boost another. It is a fitness exercise. It's had in gyms, you can do it in trainers, like grannies do it, kids do it, everyone does it, and that's amazing. So just maybe showing them like a subsection or a selection of the subsections of pole is a great way to educate them, so they can see that it's not just pigeonholed into their one opinion of it. There's so many different genres and alleyways that it can go down, and that's why it's so popular, because you can do whatever you want with it. It's just a metal pole, which is why everyone loves it so much. I hope that answered your question. I know it's really difficult to be, I'm trying to be as specific as I can, but without knowing the context, it's quite difficult, but I understand what you're saying, and I hope I've answered your question sufficiently. If I haven't, then chase me up, and I will try and explain more, give my opinion on it. So yeah, I hope that's been helpful. If anyone's been asking, or I know a few people have been asking about my tops, this is the Bag Kitty Whiskers top, which I will also link down below. It's a little sports bra. I absolutely love it. It's amazing. It's super, super comfy. And I wear it on the pole all the time. Go Bag Kitty. And I apologise if my dog has been snoring in the background the whole time. He's just being very needy today. And he doesn't know he's going to the dog training yet, so he's probably not going to be needy then. He's going to hate me. If you want any more questions, or if I haven't answered your questions sufficiently, then yeah, comment below. I read everyone's comments, and I really, really appreciate your time even asking me a question. Hope it's been helpful. If you want to see more and want to see those videos that I'm going to be putting out about the nutrition and the exercises, then like and subscribe, and let me know what you guys think, and I will see you soon. You can answer some questions? What? Don't be gormless.
Yeah, no, no.